What's up, poker players? Hope you guys are out there crushing it on the tables. Right now, we are reviewing the downswing that we experienced last month. We are definitely not crushing it on the tables. Let's find out what mistakes we were making during this 2200 hand session, which somehow has a lot of green in the hands down here. But let's take a look at some of the hands and see what happened during this session. First hand we're looking at is at the 100 NL table, playing short-handed, only 3 of us being dealt into this hand. The button limps, not a suggested play. The small blind completes, and we put in a raise here, make it $6 to go against 2 recreational players. Button calls, small blind calls, and we are seeing a 3-way flop with $18 already in the pot. Flop is pretty good for our hand. 8 high, 2 tone, 2 hearts out there. We have the backdoor flush draw as well as backdoor straight draws, and we have the pair of 9s over the board. I put in a continuation bet of a little bit less than half pot here, and the button calls, the small blind calls. Bets are not working in this hand. The turn is the queen of hearts. We are now 1 card from the flush, and we still have some showdown value with our 9s. Small blind check. I elect to slow down now and check, and STG also checks the button. The river is the 4 diamonds, and now the small blind leads out for 14-21. We just make a call with a pair of 9s having some showdown value against the recreational player, which winds up being the best hand, and we take down this $71+ pot. Still at the 100 NL table, we have King Jack suited now playing in the hijack seat. Full draw to us, and we open to $3. We get a call from the button, and we see a heads up flop, and holy shit, KKK flop. That's pretty racist, but we just flop quads, and we of course are going to be slow playing this one. Check the flop. Our opponent bets 2/3 pot. We can pretty much make the assumption that our opponent has a low pair like they do with the 9s. Just make a call. Don't want to give away the value of our hand. The 4 bricks the turn. We check once again and let our opponent bet what they think is a value hand, which is what they do. 807, about half pot, and this time I put in a min raise. Let's represent we hit that 4, huh? We get a call, and our opponent is now well beyond pot committed, only 2163 left in the stack. We will be getting that all in on the river, and we will be taking down this pot. We bet more than their stack. They of course make a call, and we show our quads taking down a $93 pot. How the hell did this wind up being a losing session when literally all the big hands were won by us? It's strange. This time we have pocket 4s at the 50 NL table playing from the cutoff. Full draw to us, and we open to 3x. We get a call from the button, and we get a call from the big blind. 3 of us see a flop, which is 2-tone, 10 high. We have bottom set on a very draw heavy board. Big blind checks, and we continuation bet 2/3 pot, 301 to go. We get a call from the button, and we get a call from the big blind. The turn is the king of hearts. Now this board is even more draw heavy. A queen jack got there with a straight now, but a lot of queen jacks are going to be folding pre-flop. Maybe not from the big blind. We continue betting on the turn, make it 850. Don't want to let any of the draws get there for free, and the big blind jams all in. The only hand, like I said, that we are losing to really would be the queen jack. There's the possibility that our opponent also hit a set on the flop with 10s or 9s, but there's too many draws out there. Possible king 10s or any king for that matter, as we can see, and we are pot committed here, having only 37 left in our stack. So we do make this call, and we have our opponent drawing to only a jack on the river. 6 of diamonds does it for us, and we take down this $100+ pot. And now we're at the 200 NL table. We have king queen offsuit playing from the big blind. Full draw to the small blind, who opens to 3x. Just make a call here, and we see a flop of queen high 2-tone. We have top pair, vegetables continuation bets, but makes it smaller this time. Interesting bet sizing. I elect to just call here. The queen of spades comes on the turn. We now have trips, but this is a very draw heavy board. There's 2 flush draws out there, as well as possible straight draws. Vegetables now bets 2/3 of the pot, and I just make a call. I think raising this spot is probably a better play, but it looks like I'm putting in a trip tricky play against a regular player. And the deuce of diamonds bricks the river. I doubt there would be a 3-4 in our opponent's range. It's possible, not completely out of the question, but let's try to extract as much value right now, which is going to be winning a vast majority of the time. Bet $30 and we do get a call, and we take down this pot with the trip queens, 109.50 in this pot. And now we have king 10 suited at the 200 NL table playing from the button. We get a limp from under the gun +1, recreational player, only a sample size of 24 hands. Let's isolate this player and play a solid hand in position, and we get a call. There is $23 in the pot pre-flop. Flop is 2 queens and a 10. Our opponent checks the flop, and we put in a continuation bet of half pot. Our opponent makes a call. I don't know about that one. 5 comes on the turn, not improving many hands. That call on the flop must have scared me a little bit, so I check back on the turn. We're going to be losing to ace 10s or any queen that our opponent could have hit on the flop. And the 8 of diamonds comes on the river, and now our opponent leads out for $34. I could see a queen making this play, as well as any of the draws that missed. The straight draws with king jack, ace jack. I don't see a 10 betting this hand, so we're probably going to either be losing to a queen or beating a draw that missed. I did not expect to see an 8-5, but I do make the call, and we take down this pot of $110. Oh man, this one looks like it's going to be expensive. We are currently sitting at 202 big blinds, and we have pocket kings on the button at the 50 NL table, but looks like we are going to be coolered in this one. Full drawn to the cutoff. Who bets 3x, and we are going to be putting in a 3-bet, make it 550 to go, and we have just a call from the big blind. Cutoff gets out of the way. Flop is queen high rainbow. Big blind checks. We continuation bets. Half pot, and we get a raise. Slightly larger than a min raise. This is where things get interesting. Decide to just call here. I could see a lot of queens making that exact same play. The only hands that we really are afraid of that connected with that flop are pocket 3s or pocket 8s. Our opponent bets 19.05 on the turn, a little bit less than half pot. Looking like they are setting up to get their entire stack in. I make a call, and a 3 comes on the river, making it even less likely that our opponent had a set of 3s. Our opponent checks on the river, and we decide to bet here and get our entire stack in. Looks like I had the exact same thought process that I'm having right now, where I think our opponent is on the queen. Didn't think we were going to see aces. I don't think a queen's going to be folding to any bet here. I think we get called from any queen. Bluffs are obviously going to fold out, and we're going to win this pot. So I think we can extract value from any queen. The aces were very, very concealed by not 4-betting pre-flop. If our opponent had a full house with 8s over 3s, they would have bet this river. So there is really no hand in my mind that we are losing to at this spot. So I'm not too opposed with this river jam, but we get a call and we see that we were up against aces, which we did not see coming at all. That was an interesting hand. Let me know what you guys think about this one. Should we have just checked back that river and gotten to showdown? Is the thought process correct? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. And now we have pocket 10s at the 200 NL table. This is going to be the biggest hand of the session. We get a limp from under the gun, recreational player. I make it $12 to go from the big blind. I'm not opposed to just picking this pot up right now, but if we get in a hand with a recreational player, that is not bad either. $26 in the pot pre-flop, and we see a heads up flop, which is 9 high 2-tone, 2 clubs out there. We have the 10s over the board. I continuation bet for $14, and our opponent jams. It is $85 for us to make this call into a pot of $140. We are not quite pot committed yet, but from this recreational player, I could see a vast amount of hands within their range, a lot of which we are beating. I could see a lot of the straight draws, a lot of the flush draws, as well as possibly any 9 making this play from a recreational player. So I do make the call and see that we're up against the flush draw. We hit a 10 on the turn. We have to avoid a club or a jack. On the river, we are a 77% favorite, and it is a 5, giving us the win and the $222 pot. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not done that yet. If you are subscribed, make sure you turn on your notifications by clicking that bell. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Head down to the video description for links to all the poker products that I highly recommend you guys try out. If you have any comments or questions, leave those down below as well. I will be back soon with a new video, but until then, I'll see you guys out on the virtual felt.